রাজাকার নাতিপুতিরা সবকিছু পাবে, মুক্তিযোদ্ধারা পাবে।
যাওয়ার সময় হয়েছে।
শেখ হাসিনা পালিয়ে গেছে, শেখ হাসিনা নাই, শেখ হাসিনা চলে গেছে, শেখ হাসিনা পালায় না।
On 5th August 2024, wherever the eye could reach along Dhaka's main thoroughfares, there was nothing but students and citizens, like the swell of a turbulent sea, ready to crash onto the shore at any moment. And that shore was 𝗞𝗲𝘆𝘀. Their demand was singular: the immediate resignation of the person then occupying the seat of state power. On the other side, clinging to that seat with unyielding authority, sat the head of state of the day, determined not to relinquish power under any circumstance. Let whoever wished to act, act. Let whoever was destined to die, die. She would not shift her rigid stance by so much as an inch, whatever the cost. That person was none other than Sheikh Hasina, the former Prime Minister who had ruled Bangladesh with formidable power for 15 years. The woman who had once declared with unmistakable pride that Sheikh Hasina does not flee.
শেখ হাসিনা পালিয়ে গেছে, শেখ হাসিনা নাই, শেখ হাসিনা চলে গেছে, শেখ হাসিনা পালায় না।
Yet, in a cruel twist of fate, she did not merely flee. She left behind, attached to her own name, the label of a dictator. Today marks 2 years since the end of Sheikh Hasina's rule. A protest that began over the quota issue eventually transformed into an anti-government movement and finally into a movement to topple the government. After the High Court Division of the Bangladesh Supreme Court on 5th June 2024 declared unlawful a circular that government had issued back on 4th October 2018, the quota reform movement returned to the center of national debate. For a while, the agitation remained confined to rallies and gatherings. But on 14th July, when Sheikh Hasina in a public statement branded the protesting students as grandchildren of Razakars, intense student resentment turned into mass public anger.
রাজাকার নাতিপুতিরা সবকিছু পাবে, মুক্তিযোদ্ধারা পাবে।
Late on the night of Friday, 19 July, a curfew was imposed for the first time. Still, the unrest did not subside. Its waves kept crashing again and again against the scepter of Sheikh Hasina's power. The situation grew increasingly dire. Police opened fire indiscriminately on people. Shots were fired even from helicopters. Children playing on their balcony or on the ground below their homes in various parts of Dhaka were caught in the gunfire and killed or wounded. On 4th August, the Home Ministry announced a curfew for second time. By then, most people understood that the situation had spiraled out of control. Sheikh Hasina alone appeared not to grasp it. What followed was 5th August. From the night of 4th August onward, intense anxiety and an unnamed dread had already gripped 𝗞𝗆𝘆𝘀. Hasina held a series of meetings with the top brass of the security forces. At exactly midnight, a meeting was held with the chiefs of the 3 armed services, attended by the Prime Minister's security advisor, retired General 𝗞𝗲𝘆𝘄cie𝗿𝗱𝘀, who at the meeting advised the Prime Minister to resign. Sheikh Hasina reportedly flew into a rage at the suggestion. Whatever happens will happen, she is said to have replied, but I will not give up power. She ordered the army chief to steel his resolve and crush the protests with an even firmer hand. It was at this point that Tariq Siddiqui reportedly shifted from his earlier position and told the Air Force chief that troops should open fire from the helicopters, reasoning that if the army killed a number of people, the protests would collapse on their own. Enraged by the suggestion, the Air Force chief reportedly turned to Sheikh Hasina and said that Tariq Ahmed Siddiqui had already sunk her and would sink her further. That same day, the so-called Gang of Four, Obaidul Qadir, Asaduzzaman Khan, Anisul Haq and Salman F. Rahman kept urging Hasina not to soften her position. 5th August, like any other day, Sheikh Hasina woke at dawn. Cup of tea in hand, she asked for an update. She was told everything was proceeding according to plan and there was nothing to worry about. That not even an ant, let alone a student, would be able to enter Dhaka through its access points. Reassured, Hasina relaxed, but time, it seemed, was moving fast. The long march to Dhaka, called by the leaders of the anti-discrimination student movement, broke through the curfew and began surging toward Ganabhavan. At 10 a.m., without delay, she sat down for a meeting with the chiefs of the 3 services. No one could have known it would be her final official meeting. The 3 service chiefs had received intelligence that Dhaka was on the verge of falling, that if the enraged students and citizens got hold of Sheikh Hasina, their fury could take a horrific turn, that Ganabhavan might be razed and that her life itself was in grave danger. Also present at that meeting alongside the 3 chiefs was the Inspector General of Police, Abdullah Al-Mamun. Pointing to him, Hasina reportedly rebuked the military. They are doing a fine job. Why can't the army manage the same? The IG in response candidly admitted that the situation had passed beyond control, that the police could no longer hold their position, that they were short of arms and ammunition, and that the force was exhausted. The military officers then urged Sheikh Hasina to step down. Furious, she is said to have retorted, "Then shoot me dead and bury me right here in Ganabhavan." Sheikh Hasina was not listening to anyone. Her position was unequivocal. She would not relinquish power, whatever the consequences. Meanwhile, time was running out fast. The crowd's fury had reached breaking point. At any moment, the public could force its way into Ganabhavan. The military chiefs feared that if that happened, there would be no way to save Sheikh Hasina. They turned to her younger sister, Sheikh Rehana. She tried to reason with her elder sister, to no avail. She reportedly clung to her feet. Hasina remained immovable. Finally, a call went out to her son, 𝗞𝗲𝘆𝘄cie, in the United States. The mother listened to her son. She agreed to step down. At that point, the military chiefs made clear there was no option left for Sheikh Hasina but to leave the country. Earlier, she had repeatedly been urged either to move to the cantonment or to leave Bangladesh altogether, but she had stubbornly refused both. In her view, the protesting students had nothing to do with the movement. What was unfolding, she believed, was being orchestrated by foreign powers and could only be suppressed through force. Sheikh Hasina had wanted to travel to 𝗞𝗲𝘆𝘄cie to visit her father's grave one final time, but the officials present rejected the request, fearing that going to 𝗞𝗲𝘆𝘄cie might change her mind. She also wanted to deliver a farewell address on state television BTV, but was told that too was not possible. There simply was no time. The country had to be left immediately. The Prime Minister was given a 45-minute window with 4 bags and her sister at her side. Hasina boarded a helicopter from the grounds of Ganabhavan, stripped of her former arrogance and left with nothing but helplessness. Sheikh Hasina left Bangladesh. In India, Delhi was entirely unprepared for how the events of 5th August unfolded. Its assumption had been that Sheikh Hasina would weather this crisis too. But when the call requesting asylum finally reached Delhi, it set off a scramble. 2 successive phone calls from Dhaka to Delhi secured temporary refuge in India and clearance for a military aircraft to land. From the outset, however, India made its position clear. She would have to arrive on a Bangladeshi military aircraft, not an Indian one, so that no future accusation could be made that India had rescued her or helped her flee. Delhi's assumption was that this would be nothing more than a brief layover before she moved on to a third country. But when the United Kingdom and other likely destinations declined to grant permission, that plan collapsed and what was meant to be a temporary refuge turned into a long-term stay. From that point on, India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval took on a central role in managing Sheikh Hasina's security and living arrangements. An intense hunger to cling to power, an extreme intolerance of dissent, the slide from ruler to oppressor, and a habit of surrounding herself with flatterers. All of it proved fatal for Sheikh Hasina. The outcome of the July movement could have been different. The lives of ordinary, innocent people need not have been lost. But all of it happened because of one person's arrogance and obstinacy, and history will record it as nothing less than a major catastrophe.